Good evening, folks. How are you all doing out there? It's time to do a little bit more on Rockstar 2.0, the world's stupidest programming language. So, been a couple of days since the last time we were on here, and I haven't actually done anything with it. What I've been doing with this is I have been trying very hard to do all of the actual programming on the Twitch stream. Mainly so that I've got a record of the whole thing. If I forget what I did at a particular point or how it got there, having code in GitHub is all very well, but being able to bounce back and go, ooh, yeah. Hello, Marie. Hello, Dr. Kuma. How you folks doing? And but what it does is it means I do a couple of days when I do lots of coding on it, and then I go away and I think, and I think, and I think, and I work on other things, and I think. And the last few days I have decided that the approach that we've been working with thus far, which is a hand-coded recursive descent parser, it's something that I was really interested in doing for the sake of doing it, and it's got to the point now where I think I understand it well enough that it's not fun anymore, because now it's just a lot of hard work. Just wiring in recognize. And you know, it was really interesting when we were on the stream the other day, wiring up the like a look ahead parser and all this kind of stuff. And this, by the way, this is the latest update. Visual Studio 17.10 was installed today, and it's got Copilot, yeah. Let's see. Let's. We're going to play a little. Like, imagine we've all got. Oh, it's gone now. That's fine. I was going to say we're going to read the welcome screen, and every time we see the word Copilot, you got to drink a shot, and the first one to die gets a free job at Microsoft. I like Microsoft. They're a good company who I think do some excellent things, but they are going in quite heavily on the Copilot all the things at the moment. Anyway, so what I'm going to do in this session is replace the parser component. Basically, you got to the point where you know, this is kind of working, and what I figured out with the stuff we were looking at on the stream a couple of days back was a scanner which can tokenize look-ahead expressions. And I discovered one. I almost don't want to get rid of this, because I thought this was just such a beautiful coincidence. I had built this lookup system of language keywords and aliases. So it's like, well, if you find the word is, or you find the word is, and this was the whole the difficulty we were having the other day. Lulucopter or Lulucopter says, I use irony to parse code. I don't know what irony is. We'll look at irony in a second. That sounds like it might be important. But yeah, I discovered this wonderful, I was like, I gotta try that. Does it work? By putting by putting keywords with spaces in these lookup dictionaries, I got this wonderful behavior fall out of it where it would recognize two consecutive tokens and tokenize it, or two consecutive phrases, keywords, sequences, and tokenize that into a single pattern, and it just worked, and the correct answer fell out. And I just thought that was excellent. And like I said, I almost don't want to get rid of it. But in the interest of expediency, I can spend the next 2 weeks just writing more and more cases into the hand-coded parser, or we can just get rid of it, and I can throw in Pegasus, or we'll have a quick look at irony, see what irony can do with this. But basically, I want to be able to define the structure of the language as an expression grammar and just have that spit out the relevant language expressions, and then I can go through and figure out how all that stuff works. So we're going to close out all the stuff we got here. Yeah, we'll save that. We'll save that. This code is currently broken, but what I'm actually going to do, because we're just spiking stuff at the moment, is I'm going to take a duplicate of the whole thing and sling that into another spike folder here, so that I've got, basically I'm going to end up with like the code equivalent of half a dozen dead pickup trucks on the lawn that are all in some various state of disrepair, but by looking at them, it gives you enough pieces to build the final one. So I'm thinking this is the final spike. Like, after going through and getting this working, actually, you know what? Maybe it's time to just bite the bullet and go, no, it's time for 2.0. You know what? That's easy to decide later. I can always move things around and rename them and pretend I was doing it on purpose. Let us take a look. What is irony? If I Google irony parser and take a look at this. This, by the way, this is Kagi, and Kagi is my new favorite thing. Kagi is a search engine, and Kagi is a paid search engine, and they get all their results from Google, and then they filter out all of the machine learning crap and the advertisements, and you just literally get web search results like back in the glorious days of the web when it worked properly. All right, what do we got? Okay, first things I always look at when I bring up a new Git repository. Okay, so first of all, how long? 2 months ago. All right, that's pretty good. People still working on this. That looks nice. Second, how good is the README? All right. Yes. .NET Language Implementation Kit. That's nice. So what is it? How do I find a demo instructions? All right. To run, open irony.sln, right-click the project, set a startup, click run content. Yeah. Marie says, I'm thinking of learning how to make Chrome plugins extensions just to make one that gets rid of AI overview in the results. Just, yeah. Or wait 6 months till they realize they're wasting a huge amount of money on something stupid that doesn't work. Did you see the results about can't get pizza, can't get cheese to stick on pizza, can't get cheese to stick on pizza? I saw this today and I just thought this was absolutely wonderful. So there's the whole cheese not sticking to pizza thing, but then this thing is a Reddit thread. My cheese slides on pizza. This is 11 years old. And what happened is that 11 years ago, somebody commented, to get the cheese to stick, I mix in 1/8 of a cup of Elmer's glue. And then 2 days, so that's 11 years. And then 2 days ago, oh, hang on. Someone says, this Reddit comment has been picked up. Oh, man, the Reddit user interface is so bad. Reddit comment has been picked up by Google's AI, which is just, yeah. Google's learning from Reddit and thinks it's truth. What a future we live in, hey? Anyway, all right, let's clone irony and see what it can do. There was a result that said you should eat rocks. So I've been trying to get it to tell me what'll happen if you eat uranium, and it says if you eat a gram of uranium, you'll probably be fine. Which I guess it depends what isotope of uranium it is. .NET add package irony. .NET add package what? So this is one of those things that it's like either they just assume that everybody who gets as far as irony knows what irony is, or they understand .NET language implementation kit, or they, I mean, that's useful. It's got a link on its homepage to its own homepage. Okay, let's see. This thing has like about 10 minutes to persuade me that it's going to be of any use to me. And, you know, after that, the time will be better spent not scraping around trying to figure out what this is and how it works. Extra Onion says now this is a way to spend a Friday night. Yeah, absolutely. You know, CD Project, CD GitHub, CD, where are we? Dylan BT. Actually, if I do Z Rock, no. If I do Z Spike, yay, Z Oxide. Zoxide is amazing. It's like change directory, but it remembers where you went and it remembers what you like, and you just type Z something and it works. Right, I'm gonna, actually I don't want that and I don't want that. What I want to do here is, where's this from? Irony Project. So Mrichter Irony Project, CD Irony Project, and does NuGet show the README with that link? Let's have a look. No. Does it? Maybe. I mean, we're gonna find out. But it you know, it's this classic thing of it says nuget.org packages/irony, but then this page does not tell you anywhere what happens if you install the NuGet package, or what it does, or how you use it, or what problem that might help you solve. And it's like, yeah, I'm like, okay, well, if you're getting started is to clone it and run the irony.sln solution file, what's the NuGet package for? Like anyway, right. I spend a lot of time thinking about stuff like this. The number of brilliant projects out there that never get any traction because the people who maintain them have not figured out how to connect with the potential users in a way that says, yeah, we get it. We know the problem that you have, and this thing is probably going to help you fix it. Let me just tweak that ever so slightly. I've dismantled the furniture today, and a couple of things aren't lined up quite right. Oh, cool. And also my Rush t-shirt's gone a little bit transparent. That's kind of freaky. So I'm a Windows Terminal and PowerShell, and oh my posh, that's my happy place for terminal stuff. So I've got all of the shiny goodness that tells me, that's what branch you're on. And if I'm in my GitHub folder, I get a little octocat there, and that tells me I'm in GitHub /that, and that's green because the last thing I did worked, and I really, really like it. All right, Irony Project. We're gonna git clone that thing. Someone asked me earlier, why do you do code streaming on Twitch? I said, it's really good. It keeps me focused. It means I don't get distracted and go and mess around on Twitter and stuff. It would appear that is not, in fact, the case. But, all right. What do we got? We've got a irony.sln. Let's start irony.sln. Boom. Powerline's fun. You'll be also reassured to know, yes, we have Norwegian salted licorice pastels. Everything is going to be all right. I'm down to my last four tubs of this, but I'm going to Oslo in 4 weeks. So as long as I can keep myself down to 1 tub per week, we should be all right. Copilot, AI crafted expressions. Copilot. The Copilot. The Copilot is going to copilot the Copilot. First rule of delivering a product: users don't want a product; they want solutions to their problems, and will settle for a product that comes bundled with those solutions. The best explanation I ever heard of this is customers don't want a drill; customers want a hole. If you could buy a hole, no one would ever buy a drill again. Which I just is, yeah, like. when you say, you're like, yeah, I don't need a drill. I want to hang something on that wall. Why should I have to get this tool and plug the tool in and make dust and noise? I just want to be able to go, hold there, and do it. And then I started thinking, if they invented transporters from Star Trek, could you like use a transporter to just beam like a very, very narrow sort of cylindrical column of brick out of one of your walls, and there you go, you've got a perfect hull and a little pile of brick cylinders out the back. Right, irony. 030 irony.grammar explorer, right click, set as startup project. This is either going to be amazing and I'm going to be like, wow, this is so cool, how did I not know about this? Or this is going to not run and I'm going to have to decide whether to try and make it run or just get on with doing something different. Dim, 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 dim. All right. All right. Well, this is exciting. Now what? So the maintainers, distributors, publishers, whatever you want to call them, the folks who make irony, I guess are assuming that the people who get to this point know exactly what it is and already have a grammar. Let's add a grammar. How do we add a grammar? This thing wants a DLL file. Let's load that. At the moment, I must admit I'm feeling ever so slightly like the person who went to get a cigarette lighter and came home with a pickup truck because there's a cigarette lighter attached to the pickup truck, so technically it solves your problem. All right. Oh, this is fun. JSON. GW basic. Yeah. Go sleep, get some sleep, Sophia. Good luck with your exams. If I'm still here when you get back from your exams tomorrow, it means the stream has gone way out of hand. All right. So this is the Irony Grammar Explorer. And I mean, this looks very kind of interesting and like fun, but right, let me find the docs. Irony project. Is there such a thing as documentation? Look at the samples in Project 020. So the question you have to ask is, if I didn't have Lulucopter in the chat telling me to look at the samples, then there we go. Boom. Let's ping the chat back. That's nice. People hacking on the Rockstar interpreter would probably balk at having to use irony. Yeah. It kind of like Yeah, this is not my jam. It's been interesting, and I'm glad I know about that, but this is not what I'm gonna do. No, 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 no. This ain't that kind of operation. Thank you for playing Irony. Have a nice day. Right. So, let's... close that. Actually, yeah, I can kill that completely. I got a fresh VS window running out the back. Z spike. There we go. And we are going to... so I got a bunch of things in here I can pull in code from elsewhere. I got some Pegasus stuff in here. I got Blazor, got AOT. Let's... yeah. Refresh my memory as to what we actually had running in these things. I did at one point have one of these projects somewhere. Actually, you know what? Let's just spin up code in here. That'll open up all the solutions. We can bounce around and see what's where. All right, so that was Spike 3. That was the hand-coded parser. That was Spike 4, which is the modified version of the hand-coded parser version I was playing around with. Spike 2 was Pegasus with an AST visualizer. And yeah, this is the one that yeah, had a bunch of stuff baked into it. That was the console engine. So now the one kind of interesting thing about the approach that we got based on the examples in the Locks book, the Nice Drums book. Yeah, thanks for the shout out, Lulucopter. That's it's always interesting because there's all this stuff you have no idea that it exists, and you don't know what it's for, and you've never seen it before, and it's really useful having people go, "Hey, check this thing out," and like I try to live by the rule of absolutely never be afraid to offer advice, but in exchange, don't be upset if somebody doesn't take it. Okay, so we are going to... So what I want to keep is I want to keep certain elements from the one we've been working on in the last setting there. So program.cs here had the kind of output with the console environment, and this then calls into... all this calls into run. Scanner equals a new scanner, parser equals a new parser, parser.parse. Now I think I can keep most of this, or I can keep most of this structure, and I can rip out this chunk here. I can get rid of the hand-coded scanner and parser in here, and that means I can then drop in a parsing expression grammar, a peg thing that replaces those. It might be interesting to have them running side by side, but I suspect that interesting is for another day. So what I'm going to do is let's... I'm going to duplicate that. So I'm going to cp -r spike 4, and we'll call this one spike 05, the final countdown. Because I think that all of the kind of high-level component and architectural decisions have now been sort of mostly made. And so this is very much bolting pieces together and seeing if we can get to a point where something is up and running. So how quickly can I replace the hand-coded parser we got in here, because the interpreter will be the same, and probably most of the expression syntax will be the same. And whether I keep the visitor pattern or not remains to be seen, because I don't much like it. It to me feels like the thing about it that bothers me, and there's a very, very interesting explanation in the section in Nystrom's book where he talks about it. Let me bring that up so we can take a look. So where's the crafting interpreters, and he has this kind of lovely discussion about where is it? He's talking about the functional versus object-oriented languages, and I can't remember where the bit is, but he's talking about the yeah, no, that's fine. There we go. And yeah, it's I've never seen this explained sort of quite this clearly before. Is he basically says, look, you got this thing, you got a bunch of things in your program. You've got different types. So we got a binary and a grouping, a literal and unary, and every one of them has an interpret method, analyze, resolve method. And basically he's saying, look, if you're an object-oriented language like Java, then you're adding a new class is easy because all of those methods go together in the same class. But then if you add a new behavior to your program, you need to add a new method, so you need to do this. You've got all these things, whereas in functional programming, the functions pattern match on the types, and so adding a new function is easy because you just say, hey, we'll do this for binary, do this for output, do this for this expression type. And I just thought it was a very, very nice explanation of. He describes it as the grain. He talks about programming languages like functional has a grain and object-oriented has a grain, and if you're programming against the grain. And also he mentions there's a language called Dylan that has multi-methods that support both things, but they sacrifice static type checking for that. Anyway, so what we're going to do is... we are in Rockstar. We are in, I think, the Rockstar 2.0 Spikes 5, the final countdown. Right, we're going to comment out a bunch of stuff we don't want and throw in a bunch of stuff we do want and see how quickly we can get to the point where this thing is still going to work. So let's go into our... All right, parser. Gone. Scanner. Gone. Program.cs is almost good apart from that. So now we need to drop in, so I'm going to install Peg, parsing expression grammar. So cd rockstar and dir, and the thing we're going to do with this is I'm going to .NET add, make that a tiny bit smaller. Let me just check whether there's a new release of Pegasus. I know they're working on one. Pegasus C#. Yep. Okay. 6 months ago, they refreshed an API token. Yeah, that's probably a pretty good place to start. 6 months is good. We like that. Yeah. So you see this, just to contrast with irony here, Pegasus is a peg-style parser generator for C#. That's what it is. Like, if you need a peg generator for C# that integrates with MS Build and Visual Studio, you're probably in the right place. So yeah, let's do it. Boom. So that window there. .NET add package Pegasus. Excellent. All right. So now we probably need to. Yeah, that's got an update, and so now I can. I'm actually going to close and restart Visual Studio. Camera froze. Thank you very much. Yep. camera froze, fell over, and died. Camera will be back in just a moment. Let us see why camera has decided camera is not going to cooperate. We are going to unplug and replug the things. It's all fun and games. Let me see what's going on. You know what we can do is we can switch that over to here. We can activate that. And no, that's not working either. There we go. Back. Yeah, it's weird. It only does that on OBS on Twitch streaming. It'll happily run Zoom meetings for hours at a time and recordings and stuff. It's something about maybe the restreaming plugin for it that gives it headaches. Anyway, so yay, we're back. Look, you can all appreciate the way my face moves when I'm programming, which I'm sure is what you're all enjoying doing with your Friday night. So, right, Peg, bang, done. Pegasus in, sweet. Right, start rockstar.sln. Open that up. That's good. What do you mean can't find the file specified? Yeah, you can. All right. Add new item. Now, if it worked, I will have a parsing expression grammar or a peg grammar in my list of item templates that I can add here. If it didn't work, I'm going to bodge one in anyway and see what happened. Come on. Come on. Okay, so we'll plug one in manually. What do I need on here? I just like need a new file, any kind of file. Actually, you know what? Right click, add new item. See if it'll do it from this. There used to be a thing. I'm sure I've seen a thing, and I can remember where the thing is. Add. All right, whatever. Text file. That'll do. Text file. There we go. We're going to call our text file rockstar.peg. And we are going to go on to our CS proj file, and we are going to plug in. All right, so there's the Pegasus package. And so now all I need to do is projects marked as peg grammar in the properties window. That's what we need to do. So there's Rockstar. There's a rockstar.peg. Build action should have peg grammar in here. There it is. Beautiful. All right. So what we can do now is build up the expression grammar. Now, I had one of these earlier because I did an earlier spike on Rockstar with a Pegasus grammar in it. So let's just see if we can grab a version of that. And there we go. Oh, hang on. Yeah, I've lost a window. It was right there, like literally a second ago. And it's vanished into the mysterious... It's vanished way off over there onto a screen I don't have. Yes, I didn't give up on writing a parser myself. I decided not to do it. That's not the same thing. I got to a point where I had the look-ahead routine working, and we just got into this loop of you add a token type, and then you have to add the this, and you have to add the that. And it's everything that I was doing, I'm thinking if I was using a parsing a peg grammar here, this would already be done, and I could concentrate on the interesting bit, which is the interpretation and the flow control, and the language syntax gets much easier to keep track of when you're using peg for it. So yes, I have decided not to use a hand-coded parser for this. Now what I've also just done is I've lost a window. Let me throw up another one of these. There we go. All right, and the projects. There we go, and projects contains GitHub, and GitHub contains Dylan Beatty, and Dylan Beatty contains so many things, one of which is Rockstar 2.0 Spikes, which contains Pegasus and AST Visualizer, which contains a engine, which contains rockstar.peg, which I can open with TextPad will do. There we go, and all right. So, yeah, I mean, it would be possible. I know folks have built hand parsers for Rockstar, but I have a bunch of things I want to do with this project about user interface and accessibility and making it easy for folks to play with. And all of those things are on hold until I've got a working interpreter. And so the quicker I can get a working interpreter, the better. Right, what do we got? We're going to build a Rockstar grammar from scratch. So a Rockstar program is a, let me just crib the docs here and bring up a simple example in another screen somewhere. So we're going to do a little left-right split there, and we'll minimize that, and we'll minimize that, and syntax grammar. So we have got one of those, one of those, one of those. So namespace is going to be Rockstar, class name is going to be parser. We probably don't need system.globalization. So we have got a program is a series of statements followed by an end of file, I think. And a statement is going to be a so all we've got at the moment is we've got assignment or output. Those are the only things we've got. We're going to get to a point where we can assign one thing. I'm pretty good, Stony. How are you? So a statement is going to be an assignment or an output. Let me see if I can come up with a grammar for this I like. There we go. Program is a statement followed by an end of file. A statement is an assignment or an output. And then an assignment in this is going to be identifier is. Now I need to plug in here. Now I'm gonna bring up something else that I got here, which is on github.com/rockstarlang. There is the Rockstar Satriani interpreter, and so Stoney's been up since yesterday, but yeah, that's a long time. What are you gonna do? You're gonna stay awake for 30 hours? You're gonna try and sleep for like 20 hours and change phase the hard way? Rockstar includes Satriani, and Satriani includes rockstar.peg. So this is an expression grammar for the JavaScript version of the interpreter. And yeah, this is cool. So right, so we got end of file is nothing. If you do not have any character, you have reached the end of the file. So that's fine. We've got one of those. Now, statement is an assignment or an output, and an assignment is an identifier followed by, now we need some white space in here. So white space in this is either a literal space or it's a tab for now. So assignment is identifier white space, then the is keyword. We're just going to use is for now. That's all we got. And expression. And output is going to be a it's one of the frustrations I had with this last time is you get a lot of places where you want to use the same thing in two different places. So an assignment is an assignment statement, or it's a output statement, and then assignment statement is identifier followed by white space, followed by is, followed by an expression. Then an output statement is going to be an output followed by an expression, followed by white space, followed by an expression. And and then what do we got? We got identifier equals, now for the purpose of this one, I'm just going to say that an identifier is any sequence of A to Z characters. All right, and then the output is going to be, so this is going to be say or shout. So that's a terminal, that's a terminal, that's a terminal, and then expression equals, now at this point we need to start yielding some stuff. So output white space expression, and then this is the bit which gets onto the part which is actually interesting, is we can yield return. So if we see that yields an new assignment of identifier and expression, I think. And this would be fun if we had any kind of IntelliSense or language support syntax highlighting for this. I wonder if that exists actually. Let's just take a look. VS highlight peg file. That's VS Code. That's VS Code. Peg.js, Peg.s, Pagan Grammar, VSIX, VS Code, VS minus code. But of course, excluding the word code from a search about how to highlight here. VS Code is a stupid name for a product. But this is Microsoft, who released two different things called Link in the same year. So what can you do? All right, so yeah, it does exist. There are plugins for VS Code. I mean, we always have the option. You know, I can spin up code and use code to edit the peg file. And let's try that. Visual Studio minus VS Code, highlight peg file. How to draw a bitmap? Yeah, no, all right. Open file. Let's go. Actually, we'll just open up the whole thing. There we go. Spike 5, the final countdown. Rockstar.peg. Any second now, something will go, ooh, there's a thing available for peg files. Maybe. Possibly. Let's search the extensions marketplace. Peg. Yep. That I do not entirely understand. That one's got 3,000 downloads. That one's got 2,000 downloads. That's a Peg.js syntax. Let's install that. That can't possibly be bad, right? Like, nothing bad ever happens on the internet. All right. Where's my peg file gone? There. Sweet. Okay, look, we got pretty colors. All right, so A program is a statement or 0 or more statements followed by an end of file. End of file is that. A statement is an assignment statement or an output statement. An assignment statement is an identifier with white space followed by is followed by white space followed by an expression. And that will yield a new assignment. An output statement is an output followed by white space followed by an expression. Output is a say or a shout. Now when we get one of those, that will yield a new output. Actually, that should be assignment statement. Well, we'll come back to that. I might look at using nested classes to make some of this stuff a little cleaner. Output statement is output followed by white space followed by expression. Identifier is an A to Z plus. Output is a say or a shout. And then expression. So let's just start with something where we can assign numbers. So an expression then is an identifier or a number. And ooh, interesting. No, that's all right, I think. Yeah, an expression can be an identifier, in which case we yield a new lookup. Identifier. Oh, look, Copilot's helping. Yay! A difference between, so a pipe indicates a logical OR that is part of the same, it's different ways of achieving the same result, whereas a slash indicates that this part of the grammar could go down two different paths in the grammar syntax. So an output statement can be the word say or it can be the word shout, but in either case it's the same thing. It yields the same token. Whereas an expression could be an identifier, in which case you go and you'd yield one of these, or it could be a number, in which case we say that, and then we'll say down here a number is... no, I want to actually insert a tab. I don't want Copilot to help me here. And that gives us 0 to 9 plus, and at that point, so that pattern needs to be named. And that we just give it a, actually, you know what? We can crib that directly out of the handbooky bit here. So number is going to be a value, which is a 0 to 9, optionally followed by a literal decimal point and then 0 to 9 plus, and that's the question mark to indicate that that's optional. And if we find one of those, then we are going to yield a double.parse on, which is why we need system.globalization at the top. Because, okay, so Copilot there, or whatever, it's Copilot, isn't it, in VS Code, knowing that even though I'm in a PEG file, I'm using system.globalization, that was useful. So white space is a /t. Let me move that down. I tend to put the smaller terminals towards the end of these things. All right. So what we should have now is a parser that is capable of yielding assignments, identifiers, outputs. All right, so let's jump back over into here. Spin up full Visual Studio. That seems to have worked. Let me rebuild this. And one of the slight quirks is that every time you run it, okay, unterminated code section. Okay, that's cool. What does it mean, unterminated code section? Let me check the syntax. Have I put in a semicolon where I shouldn't have done, perhaps? Yes, there are no semicolons after the return statements. All right, so rebuild. Unexpected character. Does that need to be parenthesized? Let's take a look. Probably. Yep. Yep. Have I just messed up the vertical pipe? So the question about the difference between, hey Jake, welcome, a slash and a pipe. What I told you was completely wrong, and I'm stupid, and I got that wrong. It should be this. You didn't miss. The biggest thing you missed is I'm not hand coding a parser anymore because I got stuff to do, so I'm using it. There we go. Boom. Parsing expression grammar. All right. 12 errors is a reasonable number of errors. So what do we got? We've got... rebuild that again and see where it's complaining. So that's interesting. So look up there. Is trying to return something. So you notice the rockstar.peg when we compile the peg grammar. Can you folks just see that? There we go. It gives me an error that says, hey, line 21 of that file, you had a mistake. So it's trying to resolve lookup there to something that we don't have yet. So let me put in a Rockstar class name parser. That's fine. All right, rebuild that one more time. Let's start working through the bits here and figure out what the problem we've got is. Okay, scanner could not be found. Well, that's fine. Okay, so this is going to get scrubbed. That we're going to take out, but now we should be able to say var parser equals new parser. Now, as soon as we fix the errors in that peg file, that should kick in and work. So what I'm going to do for now is we're going to streamline that grammar down to the simplest thing that can possibly work, which is, how do I comment stuff out in here? Comment is a hash, I think, in peg. What do I want here? I want a syntax guide wiki entry. There we go. All right, settings, setting value, namespace. Yep, that's fine. Basic syntax name equals expression. Expressions. Multi-line and single-line comments. Okay, so VS doesn't know how to do it, but I bet, yeah, if we go into VS Code... No, it puts hashes at the beginning of all the lines. That's all right. We can do multi-line commenting in here, so that's going to work. So let's, right now, we're going to start with the simplest thing that's going to work. We're going to say a program is a statement followed by an end of file, and a statement is just the word shout. And that is just gonna, the only thing that's gonna do is return a new output. Okay, there we go. We build that. It's gonna blab. Okay, name output could not be found. Are you missing a using directive? Okay, so that's fine. So now on our solution explorer, what I can do here is I can plug in the missing token, which is gonna be a, we'll drop that in just down the bottom here, public class output. Build that. The parser could not be found. The name prior. Okay, no grammar rules were defined. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. That should work. That's a terminal. All right, let's comment that line out, see what we get. See if we can build a interpreter that only cannot implicitly convert type rockstar.output output to string. And Okay, why is it trying to return a string? Why indeed? All right, let me just check that. So that should be, yeah. All right. Let's try this. What made you change your mind? I got bored. I was. Yes, you can look at the generated code if it generates it. Okay, so that's just saying no grammar rules were defined. So that probably means a... let me try copying that entire syntax and drop that in at the top of here. Okay, and rebuild that. And rebuild that. Yeah, okay, that's promising. Yes, you can look at the generated code. If I go into the Rockstar folder and open that in File Explorer, and we can have a look in bin, and in bin there is debug net80, and in here should be, yes, obj debug net80. Somewhere in here is a rockstar.parser. There, rockstar.peg.g.cs. This is the generated expression grammar file. And yep. Namespace Rockstar, public partial class parser. Yeah, that's there. That exists. But it can't see it. Okay, that's interesting. We got further that time. Okay, this is weird. Why is it saying no grammar rules were defined? I've never seen this error before. And I've used expression grammars for a bunch of things previously, and that is very, very weird indeed, because this is the example cribbed directly out of the reference, or the project page, GitHub page. All right. Namespace, class name, yep, that's fine. Class name parser, that should be fine. That should all be all right. Let's just scrub that. Actually, I'm going to stick it in Git. I know you shouldn't push broken code to Git, but that's not that kind of operation. We're having fun. So I'm going to quickly do a quick git add -a, git commit -m. Don't want to lose this code, even though it's horrible and doesn't work. IA can just have it in staging. Of course you can. I'm a pathological Git pusher because when I first started working with Git, I had a very, very unreliable desktop machine that used to crash multiple times a day, and occasionally the hard drive wouldn't come back when you were finished. And so I got into the habit of consistently pushing stuff. All right, scrub that. We don't want that. That's out. That's out. That's out. That's out. There we go. That's out. Okay. No grammar rules were defined. I am going to unload the test project because this ain't going to work for a while. And I don't want to get compiler errors coming back from it. That worked. Huh. Alright, so the presence of my test project was causing other things to fail, I guess. Yeah, that does not make any sense, but never mind. Okay. So now parser equals new parser, and that should be... rebuild that. Okay. Parser.parse. Now this is kind of fun because the parser we've got here, we give it a program, and it gives us back a I think gives us back a decimal because that's the only thing it knows how to do. But at this point we can do that, I think. Rebuild that, that builds, and now if we run it, I think we'll have a very, very simple calculator. So that's going to blow up. Cool, failed to parse, yep, that's right. Alright, fine. So that's good. That is an error message that we completely expected. So I'm going to reinstate run prompt there. We're going to run that. 1 plus 2 is 3. 1 plus 5 is 6. 1 plus 2 plus 3 divided by 5 divided by 6 times 7 is 3.1. Cool. Look, we built a calculator. Go us. Except the thing that's doing all the calculating here is actually the parser itself is evaluating those because they're compile time constants, so they can get folded down. But okay, so that works. So we've got the syntax of the thing hanging together. So let's start turning this into something a little bit more, yeah. This is a folding parser because it's basically saying, look, if I got a left and a right, then add them up together when we get to this point here, which is not what we want. So I'm gonna crib this lot out. I'm gonna take all that lot out, and we're gonna go back to what we had before. So we've got a program is going to return a program is a list of statements followed by an end of file, and a statement in this is just gonna be a let's say output, and this will return a new output. So that should, and then EOF is not a character. Right, build that. Yeah, no grammar rules were defined. Ah, no, it's more cunning than that. No, it's not the comment. It's the program has to be defined as it needs to consume something. This is ringing a bell. So a program in Rockstar is either it's something like it's either a statement or it's a statement followed by a program. Let me check the syntax for this. It's one that there is so much beautiful, elegant stuff in the way expression grammars are designed, and it always takes a while to get my brain to kick back into it. All right, let's try a single thing. So programming, this is a statement. And a statement followed by an end file, and then a statement as an output. Let's build that. That doesn't work. No grammar rules were defined. That's weird. I mean, the one that I'm cribbing stuff from here is built in JavaScript, so it's not an exact kind of one-to-one match. But it should kind of work. Right, let's check the syntax wiki guide entry. Let's see what I'm missing here. So, basic syntax rule, name equals expression. By default, rules infer the return type. You can override this by making it generic. Rule flags are Boolean settings, like do you want to flag or do you want to memoize, or is there a you know... Yep. Yep, that's it. Yeah. So a program is, I mean, that should be General Kenobi. I watched The Phantom Menace the other day. It's so bad. It's like Jake Lloyd is practically the best thing in it because he's believable as a really geeky, like 10-year-old kid, 9-year-old kid. Maybe you need statement output. Well, so it should infer the return type of the expression here. Should pick it up. Let me see what happens if I take the end of file thing out. Let's see what that does. No grammar rules were defined. All right. Let's start with something we know works, which is the example grammar that we just got in and we parsed it. And let's build that. And that works. And now let me try backfilling, adding stuff onto this. So in this, I'm going to say expression equals additive. Yeah, that works. And so we can have a statement in this equals shout expression. We'll put a literal space after that. So there we go. Okay, that succeeded. Possible null reference return, but that's all right. We can. That's not even this actually. That's fine. And so that is going to return a new output expression. Now this should blow up. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. No grammar rules were defined. Output does not contain a constructor that takes 1 arguments. Okay, oh, maybe. Let me check this. Public class output, decimal D. Okay, let's build that. Grammar rules were defined. Argument 1 cannot convert from method group to decimal. So, statement equals shout at an expression. Yeah, no, it's not. I've forgotten to name the thing I'm capturing. That's what I'm doing here. I told you it would take me a while to get my brain back into the zone with this stuff. Yes. That needs to be that. That's the pattern, not the identifier. There we go. We build that now. No, come on, that works. Look, we build that now. Argument 1 cannot convert from double to decimal. Oh yeah, that's a double, not a decimal. So that needs to be a double D. Okay, cannot convert output to string. So statement here needs to return an output. There we go. Build. 1 succeeded, 0 failed. And now, if we run it, okay, so it's picking up a Rockstar output on every one of those. And it doesn't know about exit, because it doesn't know about exit, but that's fine. Okay. Right. We're cooking here. This is going good. Right, so let's get add -a, all the things. There we go. Okay, so back to what we were working on previously. I am gonna scrub all of that because I don't like it. I'm going to go into my git crack and commit history. I'm going to find that code that I committed because it was horrible, and I'm going to dig it back out and fix it. Nope, not that one, not that one, not that one. There we go. Here you go, Twitch, you just got to see all the other stuff I'm juggling as well as this. I don't want to lose this code even though it's horrible. View changes. What do we have? Rockstar.peg. It's like watching the rebase video, only the slightly less tunes. Let's copy the deleted lines. No, copy deleted lines, all of them. And actually, no, we're going to build this. I'm going to build it up again. Now that I know what I'm doing wrong, we can build the thing up from the start. So a Rockstar program consists of a statement, or a there's a weird thing you can do in here. A program consists of an end of file or a statement followed by a end of statement followed by a program. So for this one, I'm going to say that an end of statement in this is going to be a new line. All right. And then a statement is going to be output followed by, so let's put in some white space, and we'll define white space as underscore because that makes it easier to keep track of what we got going on. So that's a space or a \t. So a statement is an output followed by an expression, and when we see one of those, an expression here has a value, and this is going to return a new output based on that explorer. All right. So then an expression is going to be a, well, let's, at the moment, let's just do, Take it easy, Eugene. Go get some sleep. Almost 1 a.m. That would put you, what, about 2 hours east of me. Eastern Europe somewhere. So the nice thing about streaming late at night is you get folks randomly popping up who are in like Australia and New Zealand and Southeast Asia. BDSL, this is in Ukraine, Slava Ukraina. Yeah, I sad not to be able to visit anymore. I hope things improve. I had a lot of good times there. And yeah, this is Rockstar. No, this is a parsing expression grammar. So it is a variant on Bacchus-Naur form, as in you have expressions where you have terminals or non-terminals that yield expressions as you go through and crank in the bits of the language. And it's kind of like halfway between Bacchus-Naur and parser generator, because all of the statements here, either they have to yield a reference to another a grammar statement, or they have to yield something that actually gets fed into your language. But yeah, it's called PEG, Parsing Expression Grammar is the name of the syntax. So we got a statement. Let me just tabify some of this stuff, make it a little neater. So I hope so too. All right, so an output is an expression, which has an output expression, so that an expression in this, I'm going to start by saying an expression is just numbers. So an expression is a number, and a number equals, so we need to give this a, digits is going to be 0 to 9 plus, and that is going to return a, so what's this going to be? A int 32.parse digits. All right. The referenced rule output does not exist. Output is a terminal. End of file does not exist. End of file equals nothing more of anything. All right, this is looking promising. Cannot convert from string to double. And yeah, so that's all right, let's back it up so I can figure out why this isn't working. So first of all, you still have output. So yeah, I still have output taken that. So let's switch output to be object. So output can take anything now. That works. And I think this needs to have an explicit int closure type on it. Unexpected character, that because that needs to be before. That's over there. Rebuild that. The reference rule EOF does not exist. EOF equals not anything. Cannot convert from system.generic.list.string to system. Yes, there's a quirk. No, there's a weird quirk of it. When you match a sequence, this thing is going to give back a digits here comes back as a an I list of string because I'm not using a string capture on the syntax. So I just need to check how we do this. We need to say, look, I want you to match this, but I don't want you to give me back a list of the things you matched. I just want you to give me back the actual thing that you matched. So Yep. And rule types, the rule flags, supported character expressions, negative character classes, case insensitivity is fine. Strings can be, that's a resource thing. Sequences match each component consecutively. Named expressions refer by name. Labeled expressions store a parse result. And parentheses group expressions define repetition. Let's just check the example. I thought that would have fixed it. So if you look at the example, What it's saying here is 0 to 9 plus followed by any number of that. Do I just need the question mark at the end of it? Is that the thing that triggers it? Yeah, all right, okay. So number here is a decimal is a double, and it takes a something followed by right. I'm struggling to see the difference between what I'm doing and what they're doing, so I'm going to do that. And now that doesn't work because line 12 cannot implicitly convert type Rockstar to output to string. So maybe this one needs to be statement output. There. All right, so it's the type hinting inference is just not quite as good as we thought it might be. I'm going to spend a substantial proportion of the next 2 months trying to figure out a way of indenting and formatting these files that I like. But yeah, okay, I think that's probably a pretty good start. Right, we can build that. So we should have a thing now that can shout numbers. So if we run it, we should get the interactive prompt come up. And prettier doesn't do peg. So I've got the VS Code. We'll highlight it because I've got a plugin for VS Code that highlights peg files. So let's just try this. And has that frozen? My whole computer is no longer responding. Wow. You folks still out there? I just had the entire Windows window manager completely crash so hard. That I actually got Windows XP come up in the background. Give me a thumbs up in the chat. How are we doing? Can you folks see me? Yeah, Windows window manager crashed hard. It happens. Yes, the setup that all of this is running on. Let me see if this thing's plugged in. I can actually show you if I can find the other end of this wire. There will be a temporary interlude while I try and work out what this is connected to. There we go. That's on there, and that's on there, and that's on there, and that's plugged in. So I think I should be able to, will that work? There we go. Yay, look at that. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screens, and one camera up there, and one camera down there, and this camera that I'm talking to you on, and 2 cam links, and the Elgato lights and everything. There is a ridiculous amount of equipment plugged in and running and hanging off the back of this whole thing. And yeah. Right, give me a second here. I've lost the browser chat. That should be back. Where is the Restream browser chat window? I am going to, yeah, okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. Cool. Yes, I still find myself wanting to get just one more monitor. Excellent. All right. Actually, it's so it's not just a question of having too many monitors. Several of them are mirrored. I can't touch the left side of my camera frame. You mean there? If I do that, oh, that should be out of the way. There we go. Yeah. What really breaks the illusion, I don't have anything here. What really messes it up is holding up anything green. Because if you hold up anything green, it's transparent. You can make holes in space and see the background through them. But anyway, what did we get to? We got to here. Shout 1. Boom. Failed to parse underscore. All right, that's fine. No, that should have worked. Rockstar.peg. There we go. Yeah. That is that, or that plus that is fine. Okay, run it again. Let's see what we can see. Shout 2. What do you mean failed to parse underscore? That should have worked. Yeah, the Rush t-shirt has some slight weirdness on it. I got a friend of mine, Ian Cooper, who I run the London.net group with. He has these multicolored tattoos, like amazing ink, all over his entire body. And when we were doing virtual events and stuff, I tell you, actually, what we could do, so that goes over there. So what I can do is I can angle the camera. Like, nah, because then we ran out of green screen, you see, and you see real life, and that spoils the illusion. So that's it. But I can sort of sit and then I can do this. Yeah. Fun and games. You can do so much fun stuff with it. There's a mechanical zoom lens on this camera as well, so I can do that, which gives you some interesting possibilities. But I'm not in a very big room. So I don't have because I could be like all the way at the back of the room if it was bigger. Anyway, we're building Rockstar interpreters. I need to angle the camera up slightly to keep the illusion. All right, we can probably do that. There we go. How's that? It's I'm kind of always wary of touching anything on stream in case there. Look, see, there a little bit of reality crept in there. There we go. Oh, look at that. Right. You know our work. I'm impressed. Tech Sales was our like lockdown. Everyone's at home and bored, and we're like, let's do a DuckTales video. That was fun. Right. White space underscore equals a space or a tab followed by that, and an end of statement equals a new line. Statement equals an output followed by an white space followed by an expression. Output is shout. Expression is a number. Number is a double. Recompile that lot. All right. I'm kind of right. Let's see what we can see. Okay, parameter D is unread. That's all right. We can live with that. Let me just unfull screenify that and sling that up and drop that down so we can get a little bit more stuff on. So shout 5 plus 2. Unhandled exception. Failed to parse program. All right, let's figure out why. Because it's this end of file, end of statement thing. That's what's messing it up, I think. Or is it? Yeah, we don't have a plus operator yet, but that's all right. That stuff's easy. Like plus operators is trivial. Let's try this. I'm going to say for now program equals a statement. And then I'm going to comment at this stuff. I'm on Windows, aren't I? That is a very, very good point. Extra Onions says definitely on, which suggests that Extra Onions is watching with about 3.5 minutes of latency, which is going to make real-time conversation very good preparation for the space missions. that so an end of statement is a optional /r followed by a /n. Let's see if that works. Of course, that needs to be literal. Don't test it with SHA-2 plus 5 if you don't have plus. Thank you. Yes. No, we do have plus. We don't have plus. We don't have plus. We don't have plus. We don't have plus. You're right. Would you like to? No. Okay. So, right. Backtrack. A program is either end of file or it is a statement followed by an end of statement followed by a program. That's fine. That should give us a... I love The Martian. It's such a great movie. Absolutely love every single second of it. Will Rockstar follow Postel's law? So, if the Rockstar programmer asks for nonsense, the system should know and do what they really wanted, because it's not the system's job to be confused as him. I think you might be confusing Postel's law with DWIM programming. I did not. There's a bonus chapter? I shall look that up. Right, where have we got to? We got to here. My program wasn't working because I am stupid and I'm giving it the wrong input. Let's see if this runs. Does not runs. Why does not runs? An explicit conversion exists because program equals EOF or statement output. What? I'm going to backtrack to the point where it actually compiled and then see if it was just blowing up because I'm stupid and gave it the wrong inputs. That built, didn't it? Yeah, there we go. Right, .NET run that. Shout 5, failed to parse program. Why? Okay, let's try this. I'm going to take that lot out completely. All right. Okay, that works. That works. Extra Onions is now watching in stereo with Twitch on. So actually, folks, anyone watching on YouTube, the latency on Twitch tends to be a lot better. Twitch is maybe 1 or 2 seconds behind, and YouTube can be anything up to 30 seconds. And because it's got rewind and stuff, you can end up a couple of minutes behind on it. I have a lot more folks... Oh, I didn't need the link. Yeah, that's cool. I have a lot more followers on YouTube than I do on Twitch because I've done a lot more YouTubing over the years. But live streaming works much better on Twitch. Okay, so a statement is an output followed by that. So now I'm going to say a program is a statement. And we're going to run it again, see what happens. Shout 5. Okay, that works. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to say that a program is either an end of file or it is a statement followed by an end of statement followed by a program. And for this purpose, to avoid the weirdness with the line breaks, we'll say that an end of statement here is... you don't get ads on YouTube. Yeah. I mean, I could do ads. Like, I could make my own ads. That'd be fun. So let's say for this that I'm going to use a vertical pipe as my end of statement. Okay. So now I can have shout 5, shout 2, shout 4. Okay, that's interesting. Failed to parse program. Let me see what happens if I do that with only one. Failed to parse program. All right. so here's the problem. Maybe I've got this the wrong way around. Failed to pass program. Failed to pass program. All right, why? Does it work with only EOF? Let's try it. Yeah, that works. Let me just try something. And in program.cs output, I'm just gonna, so that's object obj, and I'm gonna override toString. Cannot convert Rockstar to output to string. Yeah, you can. I totally just did that. Hang on. All right. What's frustrating about this is I know I've done this before. Actually, I might have the code from doing this before. There may be floating around on one of my GitHub repos. There we go. So, yeah, this was when I kind of wasn't quite so... okay. So program returns... yeah. So this syntax here was saying that a program which returns something called an RS block, which was a Rockstar block effectively, consists of multiple lines, and that a line can either be white space followed by a statement followed by white space followed by an end of line, or white space followed by a statement followed by an end of file, or it could just be white space followed by an end of line. So let's try. So if a program here actually all right, so this is the OL and EOF not the same in the context of ending. So with this previously in, so this one worked, but also in this instance, this was allowing you to say, okay, so one, this worked. Two, it wasn't very good. I bashed this together in a hurry for a workshop demo that I was doing, 5 years ago. And there were some things in here that I kind of had to hack around to get them working. An end of line and an end of file are not the same in the context of ending, because an end of line is something you can consume, because an end of line is actually, there is a /r/n character that it can chomp, whereas end of file is there is nothing more in the input. You can't consume an end of file. All you can do is detect it. There's nothing to eat. All of these grammars in a parsing expression grammar, they have to eat something. Otherwise, you get into an infinite loop because it just goes round and round and round. So everything you do either needs to consume a token from the input so that you actually advance and move on to the next thing. The file might or might not have a trailing end of line. Yeah, that's correct. But at the moment, this should... Oh. So a program doesn't need to be anything other than a list of statements, right? Let me try hacking the syntax that has previously worked. So I'm going to say this thing, program returns a program, and this takes a statement, returns a statement star, and returns a new program based on statements. Yeah, there's whole thing of fun and games with in the console, when you end, you return /r/n. Yeah, we'll figure that out in a minute. So we'll say a statement is that, and then a statement is either a You shouldn't have to do that. Let me check the Satriani version, because this one had something. So Jay says, be bold, ignore lines, use punctuation. That is exactly the plan. The reason why I've put EOS in here for end of statement is that in Rockstar 2.0, you can use punctuation to end statements in the middle of a line if you don't want to use a new line to do it. That's actually in scope for what I want to implement here. I'm just trying to wrap my head around, because there are these. No, that's cool. The noise is great. If I didn't want noise, I wouldn't be on Twitch, right? It's the chat is what makes it interesting, and. So yeah, okay, so the syntax that we should be able to define, forget about the output stuff here, just talk about the syntax. So a Rockstar program consists of an end of file or a statement followed by an Yeah, maybe it's... What if we try this? It could be a statement, so it's an end of file, or it's a statement followed by an end of file, or it's a statement followed by an end of statement followed by a program. And an end of statement in this is gonna be, well, let's define that as a /r?n. So, yeah. So it's either a program can be nothing, or it can be a statement that ends it, and so it is. I have Restream running on this, so I get chat from YouTube and chat from Twitch coming into the same place, and I can see the messages, and I got them on the video. There, look, see up there. Look, oh, we broke reality. I can go that far. That is the limits of reality. After that, it all gets weird. But it is like if the chat freezes or stops responding, then unless like one of you has my phone number, you got no idea. I got no idea. I don't know. I just think no one's talking to me. And I have done actual, like paid online workshops and stuff where I've been addressing, in theory, what is a room full of paying attendees. And at some point, I've just been like, are you folks out there? And, sometimes there's particularly when it's a bunch of people whose bosses said, you all need to go on this training course. And try as you might, there is only so much you can engage people over the other end of a webcam when they've got you in a little window in the corner behind their email and stuff. And I'm like, is anyone out there? Like, are you alive? Is this real? And eventually you just get a little thumbs up in the Zoom chat, and you're like, oh, that's it. That's standing ovation by internet standards. Okay, so there's that. Right. Let's build that. See if it works. Yes. It works. And I can make this even nicer by doing that. Oh, no, maybe not. I don't know. We should run it first, right? Guess we're not far at all off having a generative expand product for video that can fit in a finger if you reach above the top of the frame. Yeah, or you just get a bigger camera, or a bigger room. I mean, if I move back to here, I've got loads of space. Look at that. See, I can almost stretch the whole thing. If I had a large enough room, then I would have the desk moved forward like this, and the camera would be way off in the background there. But right, let's see what we can see. Actually, I'm going to run that from the command line. .NET run that. So I should be able to shout numbers. Shout 1, shout 1. Shout 2, shout 2. Okay. Nothing, nothing. Didn't crash. Yeah. So output expression, new output expression. That should be fine. I can't work out why it's saying the word shout. Is the reason I'm confused. It shouldn't be doing that. Where's that coming from? And if I stick a breakpoint on the toString, we do have tests, but not for this. So there is a test suite for Rockstar, but it's very much a full hit your language with every single thing you can possibly think of. And at the moment, 99% of it is failing. So I've disabled it while we get this figured out. It's coming from the toString override. So console.writeLine result. Let me stick a breakpoint on that. We're going to jump in here, go into the interactive mode, the REPL mode, bring that over. I'm going to see if I can get this window to always come up in the same place. What I really wish is that when you pressed F5 in Visual Studio, you could get it to run like Windows Terminal and not... Ooh. Oh. Oh, do you think that's going to work? All right, so what's the result? Let's breakpoint on that. Run that. Okay. Right. There we go. So what do we got? So we're stepping through the generated code now. Start rule is ref, fail to pass that, return result. Okay, so something here has just picked up shout2 and is chomping that as a string. So the parser logic is not actually kicking in. All right. Statement output. I think I need to do this. I need to say, if you find a statement, then return yeah. I mean that's the weird thing then though is what's the return type? I mean, if we define program as list of output, let's try this. So program returns a list of output, and then we've got statement EOF returns STMT, which should just work. Otherwise, STMT statement EOSP program will return, so a statement followed by a program means we then need to return a brain crashing. So that, yeah. I think. So that'll return a list with a single element. Otherwise, we need to return stmt dot, what is it in .NET? Is it concat? Concat returns a new sequence. And that's gonna be the head, and that's gonna be the tail, and then we can wake up some brain cells that haven't been used since I did Lisp and Scheme back in university 100 million years ago. All right. Yeah. Output does not contain a definition for concat. Yeah, that's fine. Are you using the Octocon Pegasus repo as a reference? That is the Peg module I'm using for this. If by using it as a reference you mean looking at it to figure out how things work, I probably should be. But this is just, this'll click. So, okay, this we can say return a new list of output based on statement. And concatenate that with the tail, and program returns a list of output. So let's see if that builds. The name stmt does not exist because that needs to be head. The name stmt does not exist in the current statement. New list output head.add all tail is, yeah, pretty much exactly what that should do. Why did that fail? Hang on. This smells like order n squared. No. It shouldn't. Why can't you convert iParse result string to output? Where is that coming from? So that's saying right, let me try taking that out. Okay, that doesn't work. There. All right, so list.concat probably returns an IEnumerable or something daft that doesn't do what we want it to do. List.concat in C#. Yeah. All right. So the thing about you don't use no source control is I don't use no source control because it's a double negative. I do use some source control. So I can truthfully say I don't use no source control. Okay, so this is cool. Let me turn end a statement into something else that I can put in without it being a new line. So I'm just gonna put in a, let's go with a, we got double parsing going on. So let's go with a comma, there we go. Comma, and I'll comment out the rest of that. And end a statement as output, and that's white space. So I'm gonna say end a statement here can be any amount of white space followed by one of those, followed by, I guess, any amount of white space. See if that works. All right, so .NET run that. And shout one. Yep, a list of Rockstar output. That's looking pretty good. Okay, so let's bail out of that. Jump back in over here. Result equals that. Down here, I'm going to say for each var item in result, console.writeLine item I got a good feeling about this. Sig Stackfault, I believe that the person whose name I cannot read, Osland6, in my chat window here, which you can just, I'll drag it across so you can see it. Anybody who comes up in blue on blue, which makes it, there we go, Osland6, is probably referring to a parody of Pink Floyd's Another Brick in the Wall that my band and I do at conference parties, which instead of we don't need no thought control has we don't use no source control. Right, let's shout 1, shout 2, shout 3. Failed to parse program. Well, that's all right. No, I know why that didn't work. I love it when it works. Yeah. All right, so the problem with the grammar there is that white space there needs to be optional, and that white space then. Optional white space is weird. I guess this one says that's a whole lot of white space, and that thing says you can have as much white space as you want, but you might also have no white space because you might want no white space. So let's shout 1, shout 2, shout 3, shout 4, shout 5. Failed to parse program. Why? Yeah, so the thing in the matcher, that says at least 1, because when we look for white space, we want to find... So you've got this problem with white space allowing 0 characters, is it doesn't consume anything. And... I could probably actually rack up a bunch of my YouTube Stripe videos on the stream and play them when I go to the fridge for snacks and stuff, but I'd probably get booted for copyright infringement if we did that. Yeah, so there's this rule about white space. Now you have the problem if the white space consumes nothing, then if you have 2 tokens like this, output expression is shout followed by anything, then the gap between them could be 0, which is a problem in Rockstar. Actually, no, what I can do is I'll do it the other way around. We define that as the set of white space characters. So that's there, and then in other places, if white space is mandatory, we do one of those, I think, to say that there has to be white space. Because in most languages, like in C, for example, you can have, like printf 1 + 2 + 3, and there's no space in it at all. But in Rockstar, we don't use parentheses and operators, so that would be shout 1 with 2 with 3, which works fine as long as they're numbers. But then if you have shout A with B with C, you imagine in C, the C language, you could have printf A + B + C, and the lack of spaces does not make the parse on that remotely unambiguous because it just works. But then in Rockstar, if you take the spaces out, you have shout A with A B, and then the parser is going to pick that up as a keyword, and it's going to be like, I don't know what variable that is. There's no such identifier. And so there are scenarios where it's white space is mandatory, but then there are also going to be scenarios where you want to be able to shout D, shout E, and I want to be able to use punctuation to terminate statements. And so at that point, yeah, it gets entertaining. All right. So, underscore denotes there can be white space here, but we don't actually care. Oh yeah, extremely significant white space. And I prefer the approach of saying that matches any quantity of white space, but that makes it optional. And like, to me, that should work. Right, let's see where it breaks. So I can shout 1, that works. Shout 2, that works. Shout 1, shout 2, boom, blows up. Why does it blows up? Because YouTube autoplayed your Highway to Hell parody HTML, and on hearing hardwired, I had the idea of a giant relay logic machine with the web pages hard-coded. Yeah. That would be entertaining. So I think the reason why that... Okay, let me try this. So I think what I can do here is I can have shout 1, shout 2. That doesn't work. Fail to parse program. Why? All right. Shout 1, comma, shout 2. Fail to parse program. .NET run. Shout 1. That works. Shout 2. So an ender statement here should consist of any amount of white space, including none. Okay. All right, so that works. So leading white space there fits. So now I'm concerned that this syntax here could be suboptimal because of the way that the parser is going to consume things. So an end of file is a new... I think I need to build this thing backwards. So let me just do one more thing. I'm going to create a file here. I'm going to create a thing called program.rock. No, not program.rock.text, program.rock. Yes. Okay, program.cs line 12, outside the bounds of the array. That's a new error message. We haven't had that one yet this evening. What's it complaining about? That's probably because that needs to be args0. All right, failed to parse program. Cute. Failed to parse program. Failed to parse program. Failed to parse program. Why does it think program.rock has nothing in it? Oh, because it's empty. Because computers are stupid. Okay, good. Now it failed to parse program, but at least now it actually read the program before failing to parse it, which is a significant improvement on... Right. Shout 1, that works. That does not work. That works. So white space optionality appears to be a thing. Now the other thing I can do is to say that any statement can start with white space. So we can do that, and then this in theory will give us the same behavior. Yep, okay, and we go back over here, shout 1, shout 2, shout 3, shout 4, shout 5. Okay, cool, failed to parse program because it's got blank lines in it. If I take them out, that'll probably work. I don't think rock lyrics would ever have white space before a command. Not if it's at the beginning of a line. If we're using a punctuation as a statement terminator, then the thing immediately after the statement terminator is potentially white space before a comma. Yeah, probably not. But that's all right. We haven't quite got to the rock spacey, actual rock lyricy bit yet. At the moment, this is about figuring out the syntax of the grammar and getting some stuff working. Now, I'm just a little concerned about how many times this new list stuff is getting called. Because yeah, this does not look like it's a terribly optimal way. It's elegant, like I quite like the syntax, but really this thing should be neater. Let me see if it's actually a problem. What I want to do, I'm going to stick a breakpoint on the method which actually steps into the parser. And so there's parser.parseSource. So we'll run this. I'll give it like 10 commands on the command line. I want to see how many times that list gets allocated. Okay, so step into there. Start rule helper. Actually, sorry, that's the thing I need to step into. All right. So that line there is declaring there. Line 66. How many times are we going to hit that? And I actually want to put a breakpoint on there, the expression, not the whole thing. So 1, 2. Ooh. What? The concern for performance is mostly, so one, I want this thing to be very, very interactive. Like I want to build a web version where literally you type your program and every time you press a key it runs it. So you get very, very immediate feedback on the results of your program. The other one is I'm going to stand up in front of a lot of people and tell them I did this. I don't want it to be crap. I don't want the people on YouTube going, your compiler has a big order n squared problem in it. Because now that's weird. Did that do anything? Yeah. Step into that. There's a cursor. Step into the start rule helper. Step into start rule ref. I parse result. Not equals null. There's that. That's the EOF rule. Yeah. Start cursor 0. Yeah. 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 I mean, internally, this thing allocates lists of strings all over the place. Yeah, 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 yeah. That didn't look that bad. I mean, maybe I'm worrying about this prematurely. Does the IP spec have time limits written into it? IP does, but TCP allows you to arbitrarily overwrite them, because the whole, like, one of the fascinating things, I've done talks about this at conferences and stuff, is TCP is a reliable delivery protocol built on top of IP, which is an unreliable delivery protocol. So IP basically says, we'll just you give us packets and we'll throw them at the network as fast as we can, and we don't care where they go, and we have no idea if they're going to get there, and if they're not there after a certain number of kind of, network hops and everything, then we'll just assume they died. But then TCP comes along and goes, right, well, we're going to use that to build a reliable... It's absolutely fascinating. Like every IP datagram packet has a sequence number and a synchronization and an acknowledgement, and basically the two talking to one another, and the client is going, hey, send me these frames, and the server's going, here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, here's 4, here's 5, and the client's going, I got 1, I got 2, what? Sorry, I missed that one. And yeah, it's really, really quite ingenious how it all works. And it does work, which is how all of you are listening to me right now. Okay, I'm not going to worry too much about allocations. I think that can be cleaned up with a little bit of tweaking later. That's pretty good. I quite like the way this is turning out. We're going to console.writeLine that, but yeah, all right. So where do we get to? We got as far as rockstar.peg. Streaming's UDP, chat's probably not. Okay. Yeah. Low latency audio and video is an absolute, just, it is simultaneously unbelievable that it works as well as it does, and maddening that it's not better. And the speed of light means you can't actually plug into your computer and jam with your mates in other continents. And damn you, physics, that would have been so much fun during lockdown, and it would have made playing Quake Online way easier. But yeah. Right. Okay, this is kind of going in a direction I quite like now. So an end of file returns an empty list of statements. Now, a single statement returns a new list containing the single statement, and a list of output. Now that's going to give us a list of things. I need to start flushing out a little bit more complexity around a type system here. So we are gonna jump in over here. Let's find Rockstar output. That shouldn't be there. That should be, now let's go into statement.cs. And this is the stuff we built already. This is stuff that kind of worked, and I'm going to take all this visitor stuff out of it because I think it's unnecessarily complex. Or rather, I'm not 100% sold on it being the best way to implement this. But maybe I'm 50% sold, so maybe it can stay for now, just until we figure out a better way. So that's the scanner, that's the parser. Match type can go. Keyword extensions can go. iVisitors fine. So I've got assign variable, mysterious, true, false, yeah, so all those different kinds of expressions. And then we've got output, and we've got expression, and we've got... Now this is where we're going to flip things around just a little bit, because in Rockstar an assignment has to be a statement. It cannot appear as an expression in its own right, because the difference here is the distinction between the variable is 5 and if the variable is 5. And in that context, that is an assignment statement and has to exist on its own. And in that context, it is a Boolean expression which is part of a comparison. So assignment here is not an expression. So I'm going to grab that and I'm going to say no. That does not exist. That comes out. But we're going to have a void visit for statement.assignment stmt, which means I find statement.output, takes an expression. Yeah, that's cool. Public class expression, public class. Now, I don't think there's anywhere where that expression statement actually makes sense. Come on, yeah, create overload, that's cool. All right, plug that in. Yeah, there we go. That should be on. That should be an iVisit statements of T. Yep, T accept value. And that returns nothing because iVisit statements does not have any return type. So there's a weird thing that I learned kind of porting a bunch of code from the Java examples in Nystrom's book is in Java, generics can return void. You can have a generic method and then you can say, actually we'll put a generic type argument in this thing and that'll just work. Why is that complaining? Because assignment needs to derive from statement, not from expression. There we go. So that accepts that. And now why are those complaining? And that's complaining because I need an overload in there. Yeah, that's cool. And that's complaining because it needs this parameter. And that one there should be visit output, visit expression. No, should be visit assignment. Yep. You all just saw that, right? Like it literally plugged in. Hang on. There. It's getting confused about how the generics work. Public object visit statement.assignment stmt environment.set variable statement.name statement.value. Yeah, that should be fine. Why is that complaining? Member with the same signature is already declared. Where? There. Okay, this is going to be fun. Right. It's 10 past midnight. I think we're going to wrap it up there, folks. This has been good progress. I'm really, really happy with fleshing out that little structure on the expression grammar and figuring out syntax in a way that this thing is going to work. And I think I will come back to this tomorrow with a fresh head and clear eyes. And clear head and fresh eyes? Yeah, the thing is, if we stick around for like another half an hour, we'll start getting all the folks in America getting home from work. And being like, oh, there's someone on Twitch. Look, I'm going to watch that. Yeah, that was fun. Right, hang on. We're going to do a thing. I'm going to see if anybody I know is streaming on Twitch right now, because apparently what the cool kids do is something called a raid. And being very much not one of the cool kids.
No. Yeah, the shirt does.
Oh, hang on. We don't want that. That can go. No. So our WX Rob is online, and he normally does like software dev stuff, but right now he is doing yoga, and all the other folks I know are currently not online. And yeah, I'm gonna figure out rating for next time. Folks, thank you for tuning in. It's way past midnight for all of us. This is the thing about being in the UK, is I'm right on the western end of Europe, which means if it's late for me, it's even later for everybody else. But yeah, I'm gonna do some more on this over the weekend. I got big plans, and having a working parser and interpreter is very much step one in making something excellent and amazing that's going to be really cool. Folks, take it easy, have fun, go get some sleep, all of you. I'm going to do the same, and I'll probably see you all tomorrow. Take it easy.